right, let's turn to crypto, see how that is performing on a Friday as arguments for Bitcoin as an inflation hedge continue to gain momentum following that hot inflation read out of the States. Bitcoin touching a record high off the back of it, with Bloomberg crunched their numbers revealing that Bitcoin showed deflation of more than 99%.
Let's have a look at some of the top 10 out there. Of course, Bitcoin up slightly on the day after seeing that high, so some profit taking probably coming off the table. Ethereum also trading higher.
These are the big movers. There's always, I mean, we're talking about thousands to choose from, aren't we, really? But they're some of the ones that have the biggest price movements at this point.
Well, a new partnership between Dacxi and ABC Bullion is disrupting the precious metal investing in Australia. It looks to
it's democratising the space, essentially,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah.
Processing, which previously has been closed off to everyday investors. Tell us more is Ian Lowe from Dacxi, and he joins us now live. Ian, great to have you on to tell us more. So tell us about this partnership between you and ABC Bullion.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So a little bit of context for this. So the way that we certainly think about crypto is it's really the entry point or the starting point to digital finance, the digitization of money and finance. And so if we look at the underlying blockchain technology, it really allows almost any asset to be acquired, held and sold in a digital form, in the form of a digital token. So we've already seen the tokenization of property, obviously shares, NFTs, which is really the ultimate expression of tokenization. And so we looked at this and said, well, from an investor's perspective, why wouldn't we tokenize precious metals? And so what we've been doing for a little while now is offering a tokenized gold and silver and platinum capability. And so let me sort of just touch on why this creates benefits for investors. So the first is that a digital expression of precious metals is universally accessible. So anyone can participate. The simplicity of the process is really significant. So people can come into our platform, they can register, they can acquire gold, silver, platinum in any quantity as they see fit, and that can all be done in a matter of seconds. The platform offers liquidity, so customers can buy, they can sell as they see fit, and it's very safe. So through our relationship with ABC Bullion, customers can acquire those tokens. The physical metal is acquired and associated with that token, and that's vaulted by ABC and fully insured. So it's also very safe. So I guess really what we're saying here is that a digital token of precious metals is really the ideal entry point to digital assets for those that are still a bit unsure about crypto. But for those that have a portfolio mindset, we think that precious metals is a sensible addition to their investment portfolio. And in a sense, as you said, we're really democratizing precious metals as an investment or asset class for the everyday investor.
So Ian, if as an investor you want to get exposure to those precious metals, what would the advantages be of what you're offering then, say over an ETF that gives you that exposure?
Well, I mean, ETF is a very different instrument. It comes with a number of important differences. One of the main benefits of an ETF is that whoever is offering that ETF will have views and specialist expertise in how they trade the underlying assets to create value for the holder of the ETF. Really what we're saying is all of those decisions are in the hands of the investor. So we're not an intermediary making investment decisions on behalf of the holder of the precious metals. What we're saying is if you want access to precious metals, here's a very simple and safe way to do that. And the ownership of the underlying precious metals is direct, it's not indirect. We're not making investment decisions about what you should or shouldn't be doing with those precious metals. You own those directly. So it's a very different mechanism as opposed to an ETF.
Ian, how much interest are you expecting in this launch, and what type of investors are you looking for?
Well, look, this is very much targeted at the everyday investor, and having said that, we've seen customers adopt this tokenized precious metals capability, at the $200 investment end of the spectrum, right up to the hundreds of thousands. So there's a very broad spectrum. I think the universal accessibility and the liquidity is a really key component to this. So we're not simply selling digital tokens to express ownership of the underlying precious metals. We're also providing all the capabilities to then sell that at market competitive rates. So it's literally just a digital expression of owning the underlying precious metals, and it's done in a marketplace where you can buy and sell really easily.
Well, it's obviously certainly a consideration at the moment with rising inflation, and if you want to get that hedge, but of course that does bring us to that point. We are seeing that talk that Bitcoin does now offer that over gold. Are we seeing those inflows into Bitcoin as a result, perhaps, of investors wanting to get that hedge?
Well, look. To be honest, I think overwhelmingly the interest in Bitcoin is purely just about the price appreciation, and so the speculation that maybe it's a hedge against inflation is all built around the price improvement. And as we've gone through different cycles of increase and then some volatility that's seen it come back a little bit, that's essentially over a number of cycles just created a new floor in the price each time. So I think it's very understandable when investors, particularly institutions, will look at it and say, maybe this is a hedge against inflation. I think really the message that we take away from those comments is that inflation and risk around inflation is actually now very real. And there are a variety of different instruments that can help the investor hedge against inflation. Precious metals historically has been one of those, and it is a steady performer over the medium to long term. Crypto is more volatile, and certainly recently has performed incredibly well. It's really up to, I think, the individual investor to reach that view. But our view has always been understand the cryptocurrencies and the digital assets that will perform over the medium to long term, and take your position accordingly. The market, particularly around crypto, continues to be sufficiently dynamic that trying to buy at the bottom and sell at the top all the time is really not something that the average investor should be taking on. It's doing the work and taking that medium to long term view.
Ian, thanks for joining us from Dacxi.
Good to talk to you.